Hello everyone, I am Josh and welcome to this Sims 4 house building video. So this video is different than a normal house build, mainly because this is all of the episodes of my Let's Build, which I just finished last month, put together into one ginormous house build. So as a result, this is a 3-part house build because there was just so much content out of this Let's Play. I mean, there were 19 parts, so once I put it all together and sped it up 700%, it ended up at 1 hour and 18 minutes, I think, total. So I decided to split it into 3 parts, each roughly 25 to 30 minutes long. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoy this. If you watch the whole series, then this might be a little boring because you've probably already seen all this. Or if you haven't watched the series, then this is kind of interesting, I guess, because you can see all of the construction of this house in one short series, I guess. I mean, it's a lot shorter than watching all of the videos back because, like I said, actually, I don't even know what it is in real time because, of course, I built this house in real time. So I think that if you take like 19 episodes and like each one's like 30 minutes, it's a long time. You're going to be sitting there watching them all, so, you know, this is a little bit quicker. It's still an hour and 18 minutes, but that's definitely quicker than, like, you know, however long it took me to build this house in real time. Well, it actually would be an hour and 18 minutes times 7, and I'm going to do that calculation right now. I can't do that in my head because I'm not quite that good. So, hold on, let me just do 118 times 7. So, yeah, 826 minutes, which is 13 hours, which is over half a day. So, you know, unless you have 13 hours, then I guess you could go and watch the whole series in real time if you haven't already. But I think that this 1 hour and 18-minute package is a little bit more time efficient for you guys. Anyway, it just was a cool idea. Someone, I think, recommended it probably like months ago, and I was going to do it anyway. But anyway, whoever that person was that said they wanted it, I hope you're pleased. So here we have something happening. This house is here. It doesn't look anything like this in the end, and you'll know that if you watch the series or looked at the overview video. The house looks nothing like it does now. It changes quite a bit because I just didn't like it at all. And I changed it quite a lot, like halfway through the series, around episode 11 or 12. I just like completely removed half the house and completely redid the floor plan because it didn't make sense. As a lot of my houses tend to not make sense. So here you can see I have this gigantic box happening here on this patch of sand in the desert somewhere in Oasis Springs, and it doesn't look very attractive. And this brick I'm putting on now is pretty horrible. I don't know what I was thinking back in August when I did this, but apparently I thought it looked good. You know, it changed a lot. So you can see I'm putting some stucco on and all that kind of good stuff. And I think in part 1, I finished the outside. At least I think I finished the outside. Like, I finished the outside to the extent that I finished the outside in like the first third of the series because I change it quite a bit. In the second part of this house build, you'll see it just changes completely. I completely remove the right side of the house and pretty much shuffle everything around inside, and I just kind of, I don't know, I change it out quite a bit. Also, that was just the end of part 1, and now we're in part 2 of, like, if in the series. I'm like throwing out these numbers for, like, oh, part 1 here, part 2 there, and I'm not even, it probably is very confusing, but yeah, that weird cut is, like, in between parts of the Let's Build series because, you know, it's not like, usually I have, like, one continuous thing in a house build. Like, I save my, like, if I do a cut, I'll save the position so I pick up, like, in the exact same camera angle that I left off, so you can't tell that I cut and, like, stopped working on it for a while. So it looks like in normal house builds, one continuous, you know, video. While here, because these are separate episodes and I didn't do that, you notice some like rough cuts here and there in between, like where the in-between parts of episodes are. So I do apologize for that. And I was saying something. I was trying to make a point earlier before I mentioned that, and I can't remember what I was gonna say. Anyway, in part 1 here, I think that we finish up the original structure of the house, and we probably do some stuff inside. I think that we do the living room and dining room and kitchen, and then when we go on to part 2, we do most of the interior, and then part 3 is the actually part 2 is the first floor and some like changing the shape, and then the third part is the rest of the interior. So that's a fun fact. Anyway, some more things have happened while I was going on about that. You can see here there's now this gigantic front slab. I would call it a porch, but it's not really a porch. And that doesn't actually stay at all. I mean, the house is not even on a foundation in the end. So I don't know what the heck I was doing with that, but I guess I thought it looked good, so sure. Here's my trellis thingamabob that happened in the second part of the series, where I thought, maybe we'll make it look a little bit more snazzy with the trellis, and it didn't quite work in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, there is a trellis on the final house, but it's not in the front. Well, it is in the front, but it's not over the front door. And there's another trellis in the back, actually, on the final house, which is interesting. Anyway, yeah. Just right now it's just a giant box, and that was my main problem with it. Is it was just a gigantic box, basically. Like there's some variation in the front, and yeah, but like you look at it from top down, like the roof is just like one gigantic square, and I didn't like that, so that's why in the second part I changed it so much. But yeah, and also of course your feedback throughout the series helped shape this house as well, which is really fun to do. I don't entirely plan on doing another Sims Let's Build anytime soon, and that's just because I kind of get tired of working on the same house for so long, and I just kind of prefer doing speed builds, or house builds as I call them now. Yeah, I just prefer doing that because it's like I can just sit down and build the whole house as opposed to like making episodes and like waiting for feedback and stuff. Oh, there was another cut you can see right there. That was not so smooth. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully you don't mind. And yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'd like to just build everything like all at once or something, or just at least like sit down for a few hours and build, and then, excuse me, my throat is like not cooperating right now. And, oh my goodness, this is quality voiceover stuff for happening right here. The amount of times I said in like one sentence is probably a new record. Anyway, I just prefer doing speed builds, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing another Let's Build soon. So yeah, anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say, but it took me way too long to say that, so yay, that took up a good amount of time though anyway, so I can just like blabber on about stuff that's not happening on the screen. So that's exciting. Anyway, I can see I just added a rectangular part, not rectangular, well it is rectangular, but diagonal is the word I was looking for there. I added a diagonal part to the rear of the house to make it look less like a giant box. And oh, there goes the trellis in the front. I fortunately did not keep that, although, oh, wait, hold on, here we go. Yeah, I thought I'd inject some more interest by adding some more angled parts to the house in the front, which I probably get rid of in the fourth part. So I think this is part 3 we're in right now, if you're going by the Let's Build series. So by the time I got to like the next part, or maybe it was part 5, I don't remember, I was like, oh, this is ugly. And it did not last very long. So yeah. And there I'm just putting a flat roof over the angled bit, which I actually do not keep it flat in the end. It is a slanted roof like the rest of the house by the time we get to the end of the video. And here I'm trying to make this part over on the right side of the house look better, and I fail because I end up getting rid of that entire part because it was just so ugly, and it does not stay in any way, shape, or form. I end up having a nice little outdoor patio area over there instead, which is a much better use of the space, so that's good. And right here you can see I have this bizarre glass diagonal part over the front of the house, which looks like an alien spaceship, kind of. It's very ugly. That's the one thing you can say about it. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know what I was entirely thinking there. It was just, I don't know. This house it evolved so much over time because like I just wasn't sure what I was doing here at the beginning, and as I went along it just changed so much because I just wasn't happy with it at this point, because it was a rough house build, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just like I'll build this some modern house that's just really big, and I didn't put enough effort, I think, into the original shape, and that's why I changed it so much later. And here we're working on the floor plan, which in the beginning doesn't make sense because we have that indoor pool area there in the back, and the indoor pool in the final house is actually in the basement. And right now there's no basement at all anyway, but there is going to be a basement. That's the study, which does not stay that large. And the kitchen is kind of like a galley style originally. And then you have the dining rooms in the far right side of the house. So your Sims would have to walk through the kitchen to get to the dining room, which was really weird. So that's why I changed the floor plan so much later on, which you'll see. I believe that's either in this part or it's in part 2. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I changed it so the kitchen is next to the dining room as opposed to in front of the dining room, so it works quite a bit better. Anyway, the master bathroom is originally like kind of that giant diagonal rectangle that's in the middle of the house. The problem with that is there's no windows in it. Now, I could have probably made a second floor on there and put some windows over it, which actually, now thinking back, would probably have been pretty cool, but I didn't think to do it then, so never mind. I ended up just moving the master bathroom, and it all looks pretty good anyway. And right here, we're just adding a little area where your Sims can peep down to the first floor, which I think is pretty fancy, and I ended up making that whole hallway octagonal, which I thought that was cool. You'll see that. You'll see the octagonal hallway probably in part 2. I think it's the very... No, it's in this part. Near the very end, anyway. Yeah, so that's all fun and games. So right here, we're working on the outside, putting an outdoor pool around the indoor pool, because why not? And it does not stay, like most things on this house. It doesn't stay because it's ugly. Now the indoor pool is no longer indoor. It's just kind of raised above the ground. And one thing I discovered is you can't put a pool raised up on a foundation next to a pool that's in the ground, which is kind of annoying. And there was another cut there just a few seconds ago. And now we're, here we go, promptly removing this whole thingamajabber in the front because it is horrible. So, nope, just changing the angle a bit. Never mind. So that's not the final front. I'm just improving it ever so slightly, but not entirely fixing the problem. So you can see it's just a little better, but not really that much better right now. Oh, dearie me, yeah. There I'm building like way off. Okay, whatever. This is fantastic commentary, obviously, as usual. And there you go. Wow, fantastic. So there's your new front end. Done. Okay, so now we're moving on to putting some more flat roof on the back of the house. And there's a piece of there's some walls and some brick is going on, and there's some half walls just to cap it off. The front could have worked if I didn't change the other part of the house, like the right side, but once I changed to the right side of the house, the front had to go. So yeah. And over here, we're trying, well, not really, it's really me who's trying, and actually, never mind, I was off on that. I thought I was going to curve the right side of the house, which I do later on, but I don't do it at this moment. So anyway, disregard all that. And right here, we're moving on and putting some of the blue paneling stuff from Spa Day on the walls, because that looks classy. And that is actually there in the final house. I do end up using that blue as an accent, which is pretty nice. And here's the giant flat roof over the master bedroom, which doesn't stay because it's ugly. And, oh yeah, putting some windows in. And I believe at this point, yeah, the second floor is actually a low ceiling. I do make the ceilings higher upstairs than they are at the current point that the house is in. And right now I'm just putting... I'm fixing up the floor plan, not really the floor plan, but like the rooms thing, so they're all, like, all the rooms are correctly done, because it's sometimes really annoying when, like, the rooms are not actually rooms, and, like, they're weird small rooms inside of rooms that shouldn't be there, and I don't know, the whole room system is a mess, but whatever. There's some windows on the right side of the house there, which doesn't stay, and, what are we going to be doing? The kitchen, possibly. I think this is episode 4. Yep, this is the episode of the kitchen. There's also going to be a cut here because I forgot to record part of it, or the recording software stopped. I never admitted it in the Let's Play, but that's what happened. So you'll see there's going to be a cut in a second, and the kitchen will like all of a sudden be there. And yeah, I just pretended that it was intentional in the Let's Play, but oh no, it was not intentional. But no one seemed to suspect a thing, so I kind of pulled it off pretty well. But yeah, anyway, I was like putting this corner cabinet in, and I claimed I was so frustrated with it that I stopped recording, and there you can see the kitchen is there. That's not true. I hit a key in my frustration, and I accidentally stopped the recording. Anyway, we're back here, and here's the kitchen, now miraculously there. And I'm just like gesturing wildly with my cursor. Here we go, making that bathroom an actual room, which is always nice and convenient when your bathroom is like one room as opposed to some weird phantom room in the center of the bathroom, which you wouldn't be aware of, but it's just annoying anyway. Yeah, I hate putting ovens in islands because they backsplash on the oven, like the top part of the oven. I don't even know what it's called. I'm not an oven expert. I don't sell appliances. But there's like a thingamajabber in the back of an oven. I would call it the backsplash because that's what it's called on counters. That sticks up. So you put it in the island and you have this metal thing sticking up through like behind the oven, which really is hideous. And that's why I can't put ovens in islands. I could, but I don't because of that. So I tend to preserve islands for sinks because it looks far more attractive. And yeah, so here you can see I've moved the kitchen, and it's now kind of in an even weirder location. Oh, right, that's why I was going to put the dining room there, so you have to walk through the dining room to get to the kitchen. Because I originally had it the other way around, and then I moved the kitchen down so I could put the dining room in front of the kitchen. But then you still had to walk through the dining room to get to the kitchen, which is not the final floor plan. So the final floor plan, the kitchen and dining room are next to each other, so basically they're both kind of off of the entrance way to the house, or kind of like in the main part of the house, so you don't have to walk through one to get to the other, which makes a lot more sense. Well, I guess technically in the final house, the kitchen is connected to both the living room and the dining room, and kind of-ish the entrance, so it just makes more sense anyway. And you can see here's the fantastic dining table, which that dining room kind of stays in the same place, I think. And well, the dining table stays the same anyway, as does the flooring, I reckon, though I'm not 100% sure on that one. And anyway, messing around with the kitchen flooring here, I think I went with, oh, maybe not concrete. Oh, there you go. That's the kitchen flooring, and that's actually the final flooring in most of the house, I think, except the kitchen, actually. I think the kitchen, I'd use a different one. Anyhow, that's not important. There's the rug for the dining room, in which I go for a nice kind of white rug, apparently. And I'm also getting some brick on the wall there, and some llamas. I think some llama pop art, if I can remember correctly. It's llama pop art. Let's see. Didn't go for the pop art yet. Hold on. There's some side tables and some plants. And where's the pop art? I don't know. I put it in at some point. And there's the eat-in dining area, which is weirdly there, like in that giant space. So yeah, that was one of the problems with the floor plan I had. There is the, whatever you call it, the piano. Of course, there has to be a piano. It's a mansion. What do you expect from me? And putting in some tile. There you go, some classy black tile. I can't even remember what backsplash I use in the final kitchen. I think it's like a horizontal tile thingamajibber from Thingamajibber? Wow, that's a new one. I've used like thingamajabber. I think that's what I meant to say. Whatever, but like a word that suggests a thing that I'm too lazy to actually use that real word for. And now I can't even remember what I was talking about. Wow, that's great. The tile. I used horizontal tiles from Spa Day in the final kitchen, I believe. So, not that black tile. Anyway, that's not important. Just adding some details to the kitchen, which, fun fact, gets all destroyed and removed later. Oh, there we go. Look at that cut. That was nice. Anyway, most of the stuff in the kitchen gets destroyed and removed anyway, so all of this is pointless. Yay. No, I'm just kidding. It's an evolution. It's an evolutionary process of the house construction. Anyway, there's a little more counter section next to the dining room, and shuffling the fridge around. That's exciting. And yeah, there's some stuff moving around. Some nice cabinets, and yeah, so that looks pretty good. There's a dishwasher, and oh, here we go. So here I'm going to be applying the curve to the front of the house, or something. I don't even know what the heck to call that. Yeah, so here's the curve, because I thought adding a curve would just fix everything. It didn't though, so, you know, I tried. And I don't even know what I'm doing here. There's like a weird angled part that's appeared, and there is a curve. I don't even know. I don't remember doing this. That's not the way I remember it looking. But there you... Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, see, that's why I changed it. This was my attempt at making it look better, and I think I failed. Because, oh my goodness, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I need to stop. Oh my gosh. Oh, past self, please stop building this house. Oh my god, that's so ugly. Wow. I don't think I've ever said this before in a house build, saying what I'm building is ugly. But at this point, it is pretty awful. But it's okay because it turns out nicely in the end. Oh, actually, wait, there you go. That's the final tile I end up using. I just put it in the kitchen. Anyway, it's okay. It's ugly, but it looks good in the end. So it's all gonna be okay. No one worry. Oop, there's some sunflowers, and there's come on, get the llama. No, sloths? No, it's llamas, yes! There's llama pop art I was talking about like 5 minutes ago. It's there now, which is exciting. And some shelving is being put in. Ooh, so exciting. Shelving is so exciting, obviously. And there's some other doohickeys and doodads just being put on the shelves to make it look more interesting and less dull. Less like a show house. I don't even know, like, what do they call those houses? Like when they build a community and they have like one house that's for show, so people can like see what all the other houses will look like when it's done. I can't remember. I think it's like a show house or something as a name. So so it seems a little bit more lived in than like one of those just generic houses that just has generic furnishings and stuff. Anyway, that's exciting. There's some bamboo in the corner. So the corner looks a little bit less weird. Oh, there's a pot that goes there, and I think it stays there permanently, pretty much, for the rest of the house. But like that pot is one of the only things that remains in the final house from it at this stage. So that's pretty exciting. It's a trusty pot. Anyway, oh yep, there are those strips on the front lawn, or I don't know if you call it a lawn if it's sand, on the front ground of the house. There's like those fountain strips, which are there for no reason, and I get rid of them later because they're very ugly. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, putting in some stuff. I guess I would know what I was doing if I went back and actually watched the parts. I could probably hear my thought process, although looking at it right now, it's not such a great looking house. So anyway, putting in some windows and some doors, and yeah, I think the kitchen and dining room is actually done at this point. Of course I say that, but it's going to change. Here we are in part 7 of the Let's Build right now. So that's like 7 whole parts just in the first part of this house build, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah, so there's some columns I was messing around with. I probably do the living room in this part. Yeah, I do. So there's some more of that blue paneling that I used on the outside of the house. And here I'm just putting in a plant inside of that planter just to make it look a bit more interesting. And I'm also going to put in some furniture, of course. So I actually do change out the fireplace in the very end of the last episode. Because the one from Get Together just looks nicer than that one. Because I keep in mind, I'm doing all of this like back in August or whatever, or maybe September by this point, because this is already part 7, remember? But yeah, so this is kind of old right now, so like this was before Get Together, or Spooky Stuff, yeah, that's the name of the pack, right? And whatever, I think that was the only 2 that's come out since I started this series, so there you go. There's the fish tanks, which don't stay there, but they actually look nicer at this point than they do in the end, because they were just kind of crammed into a corner in the final house, but that's okay. Yeah, so you can see I'm putting these little detail counters on either side of the fireplace, and do I put stuff on them? Let's see. Yeah, I do, some little plants, and there's some bookshelves that's going to be part of a shelving unit, and you can see there I'm putting in some horizontal shelves. And actually it would have been pretty cool if I used that mirror behind there, but I didn't, so the mirror's above them, that's okay. And there I'm putting in a little coffee table, or not a sofa table, sorry, sofa table because it's behind the sofa, and putting in a coffee table there, and there's the nice coffee tables, and yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I'm also putting in a lamp, fun little lamp. I guess it's not fun, I mean it's just a lamp. And yeah, so there you go. Well, I say there you go, but it's not even done yet. Actually, maybe, was I done? Was that it? I don't know. Hopefully not, because I do put a bar in later at because someone said that would be a good idea. So I do put in a bar in the back of the room, just to make it look a bit more interesting. And there's some posters on the walls which don't stay. And I also put in a stereo. And let's see, I don't know what else I'm doing because this is so long ago. I don't know what I'm doing because like usually I do the voiceover for a house build right after I build it, so I know what's happening and what I'm thinking. This is from so long ago. I have no idea what's gonna happen next. So that's why this voiceover is a little off probably. But ever since I started recording my voiceovers like at almost 12 a.m. They've changed a bit. But it's more fun. People seem to like these voiceovers anyway, so that's why I keep doing them really late at night. But yeah, so we're doing the entranceway. So yeah, it changes. Obviously, it doesn't stay on an angle because, like I said, I don't like it. Actually, I didn't change any of that stuff in this part of the house build, so it's all in part 2 where I redo the house, floor plan and everything. Anyway, this is the end, so check out part 2. There will be an annotation, and I hope you do that. Anyway, have a great day.